All right, it's a crappy rainy day today. We're probably not gonna do much outside. Every time we get ready to go outside, something happens and it starts raining. But I'm gonna make some soap today. Now I've been making soap for years. I think I started making soap in 2015 probably. And it's not a hard thing to do. It's an easy thing to do. Soap is a chemical reaction between lye, water, and fats. Now, if you have an interest in making your own soap, probably do a little bit of research on Google first. I use Soap Calc, Soap Calculator, Soap Calc, and that will help you figure out your recipes and all your weights to make soap. I make a vegetable-based soap. You have to gather together all your tools you're going to use first. Spoons, knives, spatulas. The type of lye I use is right here. Crystal drain opener, 100% lye. You can get it anywhere, it's nothing special. Plain tap water. Any kind of olive oil. Here's my coconut oil. Cocoa butter. Fragrance. Today I'm going to try a citrus peel and pine. And my last couple of batches I added activated charcoal. That'll make a gray soap or a black soap. Once you go to Soap Calc and start to research this a little bit, a lot of questions will be answered just by Googling and going to Soap Calc and checking out stuff like that. Very, very important to weigh all your ingredients. All your ingredients have got to be weighed right down to the 1/10 of an ounce. This is what I use right here. Simple little food scale. When you weigh out your ingredients, they have to be weighed in pounds and ounces, not fluid ounces. So when you weigh out your water, it's got to be in pounds and ounces. Water and lye, you have to measure out and weigh in a stainless bowl. And you always add the lye to the water, not the water to the lye. It's best to do it outside where there's more ventilation. You don't want to breathe those fumes. And then you just set it aside. Mix it up good, set it aside, let it cool down to room temperature, or at least 100 degrees. While the water's outside cooling, I measure out my oils. Plastic bowl is fine for the oils. Here's my olive oil right here. The soap I'm making today is going to be approximately 1 pound 10 ounces of olive oil. Coconut oil is an even pound. Cocoa butter is going to be 4 ounces. Water, 1 pound 1.5 ounces. Lye, 6.66 ounces. The lye to water mixture is basically 1/3 lye to your amount of water. So 3 times as much water as lye. Then you have your fragrance and whatever else you're going to put in there. Now, since coconut oil comes in either 76 degree, or 96 degree, meaning it will liquefy at 76 degrees or to liquefy at 96 or 94 degrees. I always use the 76 degree coconut oil. And what we're going to do is, I already weighed out the coconut oil. So I'm going to turn my scale on, put my coconut oil on there, zero it out. Now I'm going to add my 4 ounces of cocoa butter to the coconut oil, and then I'm going to microwave it till it's liquefied. And there is my 4 ounces of cocoa butter. Headed for the microwave. Heated at 35 seconds at a time so you don't overheat it. 35 seconds, check it. 35 seconds, check it. Until it's liquefied and all mixed up nice. Now once my coconut oil and my cocoa butter has been run through the microwave a couple times, I ran it for 2 cycles of 35 seconds each. That's going to liquefy the coconut oil, but not quite liquefy the cocoa butter. So I'm going to add that into my olive oil, and I'm going to add it instead of heating them all together, which would be too much heat in one spot. I don't want the mixture to be too hot. So as soon as I pour that in with the olive oil, I'm going to mix that up. Break up all the rest of the cocoa butter. That's my mixer, by the way. Just a Hamilton Beach mixer. What is it called? A stick mixer? Drink mixer? I don't know. 2 different speeds. Try not to make a mess. You got your oils here pretty much mixed up. I'm probably gonna let them cool down also for a little bit. Soap making is temperature related. This is called the cold process. Cold process soap. When you mix your lye and your water together, it gets hot. It gets very hot. Do not splash it. Do not get it on you. Rinse off everything it touches. It gets hot like acid. Set it aside. Let it cool down to room temperature. Now you're gonna melt down your coconut oil and your cocoa butter and add it to your olive oil and mix that thoroughly. Now the hotter this mixture is, the faster it's going to harden when you start mixing it all. And it can harden so fast that you won't have time to get it in your molds. So the cooler your ingredients are, the better off you'll be, because once you mix the lye in with the fats, the lye is going to start attacking the fats and creating your soap and solidifying it, and it's going to get hot all over again. And then once the lye is finished eating all the soaps, all the fats, then it's going to cool off and harden into your soap. Good thing to have is what's called a candy thermometer to keep track of your lye as it's cooling down. I even used to take and put ice cubes underneath it. Take a towel, wrap a bunch of ice cubes up in the towel, and set the lye on the towel to help it to cool down quicker. I may have to resort to that. We'll see. It's probably mid 80s here right now. It might take a while for me to cool down below 100 degrees. Alright, I'm going to weigh out my fragrances. Bought these cheap little cups off of Amazon. They don't cost anything at all. Bought these little pippets for sucking the fragrance out. You can get a precise amount in there. Put your cup on the scale. Tear it out. Now you're on 0 and you can go. Alright, my recipe is calling for 1.5 ounces of fragrance. I'm probably going to overdo that just a little bit. Let's see what we get here. Yeah, that's going to take forever. All right, my recipe is calling for 1.5 ounces of fragrance. I have my cup up there. It was all tared out. There's about 1 ounce of citrus peel and pine in here already. I'm going to top it off with a little bit of evergreen forest. Now, unless you like smells a lot, you don't want to spill this or drop it anywhere, or you'll be smelling this for days. And raw fragrance is pretty powerful. Okay, there's my 1.5 ounces. Okay, take your fragrance, put it aside somewhere where it is not going to get spilled, and save it till we start mixing. Alright, let's see where we're at on temperature wise with our lye water. It's still looks like it's a little over 100 degrees yet. Really ought to be cooler than that. Okay, I set my lye water on a bed of ice for about 2 or 3 minutes, and I believe I got it down. It's well below 100 degrees. It's probably below 90 degrees. And so we are ready to start mixing. Okay, these are my molds. These are just silicone. They're just silicone molds again, off of Amazon. This is only the second batch I ever used with actual molds. I have a wooden box that I built when I first started, and I used to just line that with parchment paper and use that, and that always worked fine. It's a real pain in the neck to cut the parchment paper to fit the inside of the box and then tack it in place. So these silicone molds are really simple to use. You just pour it in and let it harden. Now once we start mixing, there's no going back. Once you start mixing, the clock starts counting down and you're going to start to harden. So once we start, we have to continue. Again, have everything you're going to need ready to go. I have my activated charcoal right here. I have my fragrance behind me, a teaspoon for the charcoal. Once I start mixing, it's going to be loud. We're going to mix until you get what's called trace. As it starts to harden, you see it getting thicker. You keep picking the mixer up out of the soap, and when you see it leave a line on top of the soap mixture, that's called trace. And when it starts to trace, that's when you add in your fragrance and continue mixing until you feel the consistency is loose enough that you can get it in your mold. Okay, I'm going to add my oils. Now at this point, that lye is starting to eat the fats. Now I got to start mixing as quickly as possible. ready. We're going to add the fragrance in real quick. I just added in a little more than a half a teaspoon of the charcoal, and I'm getting thick fast, so I'm going to have to finish mixing it by hand and get it right into the molds. This is what we're looking at right here. It's nice looking stuff. It's not getting in too much harder at this point, but it was too hard for the electric mixer to mix. Okay, I gotta get this in these molds as quickly as I can. I'm gonna do these single bar molds first. Try not to make too much of a mess. The jury is still out when it comes to these single bar molds, whether I like them or not. They're kind of a pain in the neck to use. Okay, this is what I ended up with. Like I said, the jury is still out on these molds. They're a little bit harder to handle than just a plain square mold that you then slice into bars. But this makes a dozen good bars right here, and probably 9 or 10 more bars I can cut out of that. This batch ought to give me about 21 bars of soap. That's probably not even $1 a bar. So these now get put aside to harden for at least 24 hours. Then I'll slice up the square bars out of this mold, pop these out. Then they have to sit and air dry for 4 to 6 weeks, believe it or else. That's the only thing about cold processed soap, is it takes so long to air dry. You could probably use it. I'll usually sacrifice a bar after a week just to see how it works, and and how it came out and how the fragrance holds on. But the longer it's aged, the longer the soap will last. Okay, this is the batch I made last weekend. I got 21 bars out of the batch. So they've been sitting here aging for the past week. Now I plucked a bar out of here just to test, and I've been using it for 2 days, and it's nice stuff. Like I said, it's got to age for 4 to 6 weeks if you're going to expect it to last longer than a few days. The longer it ages, the harder it gets. If you could get a week in the shower out of a bar of soap, you can easily make, that's going to give me 42 bars total. So you're talking 42 weeks worth of soap. And that's good, natural ingredient, vegetable-based soap for probably $1 a bar. So we'll let this sit overnight and cool. We'll see how it pops out of the molds tomorrow. I keep track of all my recipes ever since I started making soap. Keep track of all the recipes, the date you did it, all your weights, how it handled, how it came out. I have these all in a notebook. I can look back and find my favorite recipes and remake them whenever I want. So we'll see how this turns out.